Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday when your head is much lighter. Someday, yeah, we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday when the world is much brighter.
Here with all of you.
Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday when your head is much lighter. Someday, yeah, we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday when the world is much brighter, brighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, ooh, child, ooh, child, things will get easier. Ooh, child, ooh, child, things will get easier.
Welcome to an evening to savor. I am so honored and so excited and so delighted to spend the next couple of hours with you, just really creating and giving and offering this space for you to come and rest and slow down and tap into your desires and really fill up your cup with whatever it is you're needing right now. More nourishment, more ease, more pleasure, more joy, whatever it may be. We are going to pour that into your cup tonight. I'm so excited to dive in and get started. So, in case you don't know who I am, I'm Haley Reese, and I really help high achieving, overworking women learn to fully savor every moment of the lives that they are working so hard to create. I help them learn how to take exquisite care of themselves so that they can really enjoy the journey that they're on while they're building their biggest, boldest dreams and desires. And in my work, we really use our relationship with food as one of the doorways to expand that joy, that ease, that pleasure in our lives while being kinder to our bodies and really just falling so much more deeply in love with ourselves. And so my approach and my work is really intuitive, it's desire driven, and it is rooted in listening to our bodies and reconnecting to our bodies so that we can listen to them, so that we can learn how to eat, how to move, how to think, how to live for how we want to feel in our lives on this beautiful journey that we're on. And so, just a little bit about my story, because I think this is always important to include, because when most people meet me these days, they think that I have always been the radiant light that I am now. That I have always just been naturally happy, that I've had this gorgeous relationship with food all my life, and that it just comes easy to me. And the truth is that it's actually the exact opposite. My whole body of work is really born out of all of the pain and struggles that I've gone through myself from a very young age, really as young as I can remember. I struggled with depression. I struggled with anxiety. I struggled with my body and not feeling like it was good enough or right enough or thin enough or whatever enough. I struggled with how much I should be eating and what I should be eating. And I really kept so much pleasure, so much enjoyment, so much happiness from myself because I was just so deep in that dark cave. And eventually, through this tiny little spark inside of me, this tiny little light that said, just keep going. There's more for you here. It gets to get better for you. You get to have the happiness that you see in others. I grabbed onto that little spark with everything I had and followed it. I followed it on this whole personal growth journey that I've been on for well over the last decade of my life. And I threw myself into figuring out how I could shift and evolve and grow and expand my happiness, my joy, my self-love, the pleasure that I got to feel, the ease, the relaxation, essentially all of the feelings that were sorely lacking from my life and that I was so desperate for, that I saw other people having, that I deeply, deeply desired, that I was absolutely craving. And luckily, through all of that work, all of that commitment, all that devotion, I did create that for myself. I created those feelings. I created the life. I created the desires. And of course, it's not perfect. Nothing ever is. But and it also isn't kind of like I still dip down into the darkness, the sadness, the grief, the depression, because I'm human, just like we all are. It never goes away entirely, but we do get better and better and quicker, and it gets easier and easier. And so now where I am today is that I have a really loving, passionate relationship with food. I know how to feed my body for how I want to feel. I know how to indulge without the guilt or the shame. And that applies to all the other areas of my life as well, that I can bring in the feelings that I want to feel because of the tools and the skills that I have. And I share this all to say that no matter where you're starting in your journey with happiness, in your journey with enjoying your life, in your journey with your relationship with food, no matter where you're starting, you can move to the place that you want to be. You can grow and expand into the desires that are in your heart and in your soul for what you really, really want that experience to be like for you, what you want your life to be like for you. And that is also what I'm here to offer you all this evening, is an opportunity to get a taste of all of this, to really learn some of these tools, some of these skills that you can carry with you so that you can feel however you want to feel in your life while you're building your dreams, and not only once you get to those big goals. So that's a little bit about me. And now I really want to move into just kind of setting up this container of this evening. There's a few things that I find really important, especially when we're on, more of a event like this that's kind of open to the public. We're not in this closed, intimate container of a program where everyone that you're with. So I just want to share some of these like ground rules, container setting guidelines for all of us. And the first one is just confidentiality. In this evening, a lot of really personal things can come up, can be shared. There's vulnerability, there is tenderness. So I just ask that everything that is said here stays here, whether you're watching with us live or on the replay, that if you share about this experience, which you're absolutely welcome to do, that you're just sharing your own story, your own experience, and not speaking to someone else's journey. And the other part that I want to just set up for us is that if you haven't already, I really invite you to create a private space for yourself. Maybe that means just closing the door or texting anyone else in your house to say, hey, I'm going to just be busy for the next couple of hours. If you could just let me have this time and space, I'd really appreciate it. Just so that you can really be fully present and fully here, because so much of the magic that we're going to experience tonight is about being present, is about being here in your body, landed, grounded in this time, slowing down, taking this time for yourself in a way that you maybe don't ordinarily do, in a way where perhaps you normally let other people, hop in, say, what they need from you, even if they're interrupting what you really want to be doing. So I just invite you to create that sacred, closed, private space for yourself if there's any adjustments you'd like to make. And now I want to share with you my intentions for this evening. And I have a few intentions, and I'm also, as I'm sharing these, going to invite you to think about what your intentions are for being here, why you signed up, what you want to get out of this time, what you're curious about, what you want to lean into, and feel free to share those with us in the chat as well. So my intentions for this evening are to uncover and witness your stories, our stories, and our feelings around our ability to fully enjoy, to fully savor our lives on the way to our biggest dreams. My intention is to connect you with your big, bold, juicy desires for your life, to help you and guide you to embody your future life with those desires and with those feelings of how you want to feel when you have those desires and every single step of the way. My intention is for you to get some real time embodied pleasure and to push your own pleasure edges. See how much more pleasure you can bring into your life in these really small, simple little shifts that we're going to be inviting you into tonight. And to also expand your capacity to receive, to feel, and to hold pleasure. It is in these small shifts, these small adjustments, that the big juicy magic actually starts to happen. I really think that one of my secret, not so secret gifts, I guess, as a coach is helping people make these really small, subtle, simple, sustainable shifts in their lives that compound and add up to the big monumental changes and transformations that they're really deeply desiring. So now that you know who I am, and we've set this container, and I've shared my intentions with all of you, we're going to move into doing just a really gentle, guided meditation to help us all fully land, fully arrive into this space, into this time, and to start that bubbling up of the deliciousness of savor, of enjoying our life, of pleasure, of slowing down. So wherever you are right now, and I saw Melissa in the comments said, I'm tired, so I'm just going to lay here and listen, which is beautiful and perfect, because I was just going to invite you into how can you adjust right now in this moment to feel 5, 10, 20% more comfortable. This is really a space for you to show up exactly as you need to right now, for you to come and receive whatever you need in this moment. So I just invite you, if it's a stretch, if it's a movement, a little hip circle, a wiggle, if there's anything that you need to do, any way that you need to adjust to feel really good, I just invite you into that now. We're just going to move into this meditation, starting with simply allowing yourself to take just a deeper breath than you have all day. Breathing in through your nose and letting it all out through your mouth. Again, taking a nice deep breath in through your nose, all the way down to your belly. And exhaling out through your mouth. On that next inhale, I invite you to bring in your intention. Bring your intention into your body. Bring it down into every single cell, just letting it wash over you. Starting to feel, just by breathing it in, starting to feel it being more real. Feeling it just wash over your skin, over your insides. One more deep breath to really bring in your intention. Attention to your exhale. And with each exhale, just letting go of anything that doesn't need to be here with you tonight. Letting go of anything that is no longer serving you. Letting go of anything that you're ready to release. Back to it and pick it back up on the other side of this experience. Knowing that this time is really here just for you to fill up your cup, to be served, to be guided, to be witnessed, to be seen. Do a gentle body scan. as I guide you through this body scan, know that our only job right now is to witness, is to observe, is to just simply notice. There's nothing to fix, there's nothing to change, there's nothing to do. Just simply noticing the sensations, the feelings that are present for you right now, whatever they may be. Starting at the top of your head, noticing how the top of your head feels, how your scalp, your hair, noticing any sensations that are present. And just continuing to breathe gently, gliding your attention down to your forehead, to your eyes, to your cheeks, to your nose. Just noticing what's here right now. Moving your attention to your lips and your jaw, your chin. Just simply witnessing what is present in this moment. And gliding your attention down to your throat, your neck, your shoulders. And just letting your awareness cascade down your arms to your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers. Noticing any sensations, any feelings. And with your next breath, just gliding that awareness back up to your collarbone, to the top of your chest, gliding it over your breast, over your belly, really noticing, witnessing what's present here right now, today, in this moment. Moving that awareness into your lower back, down into your hips, into your yoni or your pussy. Moving it down into your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, and all the way down into your feet and every single toe. Now at the base of your body, just take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to just be with whatever you just witnessed, whatever is up for you right now. Knowing that there's nothing to fix or change in this moment. So we're just inviting ourselves to be with ourselves in a way that we might not be with ourselves very often. And now I invite you to locate where in your body feels really good right now. Where in your body are you feeling pleasure or ease or relaxation? Where are you feeling some tingling joy or excitement or serenity? Just a place that feels really good and nourishing to you right now. And it does not have to be a big place. It could be the very tip of a finger. It could be one strand of hair. It could be one little place that you just notice, oh yeah, that feels good. That feels pleasurable. Just take a moment to breathe into that place. To notice all of the ways that it feels good. Notice what flavor it has, what sensations are there right now. Noticing why it feels good. What elements are making it feel good. And now with your breath, I invite you to expand that feel-good feeling. With each breath, just noticing that feeling expanding a little bit more. And if you're unsure of how to do this, know that you can release the how. And simply by setting your intention, by choosing, by directing your body to expand that feel-good feeling, that it knows what to do. And you can just surrender to that unfolding. Breathing that in. Noticing how it ripples out to more cells of your body on every exhale. Beautiful. And now I invite you to leave all that good feeling that you just expanded into your body. Just leave it exactly as it is. And if there is anywhere in your body right now that is feeling less than good, less than pleasurable, less than relaxed or at ease, just invite you to go and be with that place. Notice what shape it might have, what texture or color it might have, what flavor it might have. Just noticing how that not good feeling is showing up for you, whatever it may be. doing so, just giving that place a little bit more love, a little bit more compassion, a little bit more presence, a little bit more nurturing. As you continue to be with that place in your body that feels less than amazing, invite that part of you that felt really good, that feels really good, that is in pleasure, in joy, in ease. Ask to just borrow that feeling, to borrow those sensations, those pleasures, and bring it into this place that could use a little bit of that nourishment. You can imagine this in your mind's eye. You can just ask the feel-good feelings to go there. You can just imagine and start to feel the feel-good sensations in that part of your body that you're tending to right now. Just allowing your own body to nurture itself. Breathing that feel-good feeling into that part of your body. Surrendering anything that feels less than good. Inhaling that pleasure, inhaling that relief, that ease, that expansion. And exhaling anything that you need to let go. Exhaling anything that you no longer want to hold with you. Beautiful job. And now just letting go of anything that your awareness, your focus is holding on to. Just simply being with your entire body, with your breath. In these last few moments of this meditation, I really want to invite you to know that this process, this tool, this skill that we just walked through together is always available to you. It is always here for you. You learned it. Your body will remember it. You can return to this recording if you ever need this nourishment. You can simply ask your body to guide you. So know that this is something that you get to carry with you well beyond this time together this evening. When you're ready, I just invite you to take a nice deep breath, take a stretch, return to this physical space, this time, this Zoom room that we're all in together and sharing this evening. Maybe you feel like wiggling or moving in a way to just kind of expand and stretch into all of that delicious feel-good feelings that you have created and cultivated for yourself in that meditation. Now I invite you, if you feel called, to just share one word in the chat of how you're feeling right now. Or even just thinking of just what's one word for how you feel right now, and holding that for yourself if you so desire, sharing it if you so desire. My word right now is grounded. Just feeling so grounded in this space, in this moment, in my body with all of you. Oh, we have empowered. Yes, I love that. And relaxed. Oh, such feel good feelings, empowered and relaxed, grounded, beautiful. And that was only, I mean, a little bit extended, but that was a few minutes, like 15 minutes, I think, at most, to feel empowered, to feel grounded, to feel relaxed. In the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of our day, our week, our month, 15 minutes is such a short time to devote to yourself, to give to yourself, to cultivate these feelings of empowerment, of relaxation. So beautiful. So now we're going to move into kind of our first activity altogether. And this activity is really to just presence what is, to presence all of the humanness that comes with slowing down, that comes with savoring, that comes with resting, that comes with having the relationship with our bodies that we desire, that comes with having the relationship with food that we desire. It's really just a moment to share our own stories, our own experiences, our own feelings, to be witnessed and seen in them with total love and compassion, without any judgment, without any shame, without having to show up or be or do a certain way, or a way that anyone else has ever told you you should. This is really just to get to be seen exactly as you are right now. So as we move into this activity, I always like to start it out by giving you a moment to really connect with your stories for yourself. So if you haven't already, or if you don't have it nearby, I'm just going to give us a couple minutes, like two minutes or so right now, to just grab a pen and a paper. You can also write everything on your computer or your phone, whatever you're on. You can also write it in the chat, either sharing it with all of us or in a private message if that feels like what you're feeling right now. So there's lots of options for how you can kind of capture this for yourself, but just choose whatever feels good. Go get whatever supplies you need. And we'll just begin our witnessing of one another's stories very soon. So as we're just gathering things, I am just going to give you a few invitations to start percolating on, to start allowing to bubble up. And the first question to start to feel into for yourself. And again, you can write these down in a journal, you can share them in the chat. What are your feelings, your experiences, and your stories around moving slow, around slowing down, around savoring and enjoying every moment of your life, around being present in the moment, around putting your pleasure first, putting your nourishment first. What have you been told? What have other people put upon you? What are the shoulds and expectations that come up for you when you think of these things? When you think of taking this time, or perhaps even when you thought of coming to this evening? I have no doubt that so many of us had stories come up saying, I can't take 2 hours out of my day to just fill up my cup. I can't take 2 hours to pour into myself. I can't spend 2 hours slowing down. What are those stories for you? What has your experience been thus far in your life around moving slow, around slowing down, around enjoying the present moment, enjoying every bit of your life on the way to your goals, on the way to your accomplishments? What have you been told about these things? What have you been told about resting? I know for me, I've heard the saying, you can rest when you're dead, or, oh, I can rest when I'm dead. Like, rest is reserved for like the very end of your life. We can't rest now. There's too much to do. Faster, 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 better, 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 harder, harder, harder. Hustle, grind, work, push, effort, force. Like, those are all the stories that I've been holding, that I've felt like I needed to contort and crunch and push my body into being so that I could keep up, so that I could hit the goals. Been told that I'm only supposed to rest a certain amount and then it's time to get up and get on with it. I've been told that prioritizing my pleasure, that putting myself first is selfish and bad and evil, and I should be selfless, put other people before myself. Just noticing what those stories have been for you. And noticing how that has impacted your body. Noticing how those stories have come up in your body. For me, that's looked like when I'm trying to move faster than my body wants to move, I start to shut down or break down or get sick or hurt in ways that make me have to rest. What are those stories for you? How do they show up in your body? How do they show up in your relationship with food? For me, I have always been the slowest eater you'll ever meet. But when you're surrounded by people who eat quickly, I've felt that pressure to eat faster, to keep up the pace. I don't want to hold everyone up. And the effect is feeling really not very good in my body, getting stomach aches, getting cramps, shutting down. What has that been for you? So for the next few moments, I invite you to share any of your stories that you want to be witnessed in so that you can be seen, heard, loved on. And if you would like to share with your voice off mute, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. And if you'd like to share in the chat, you're welcome to do that as well. It is whatever feels good to you right now. What are those stories for you? Where have you perhaps been told to disconnect from your pleasure, your self-care, your nourishment, your ease? Where have you been told that it's bad or wrong?
You want me to share?
I would love for you to share.
By the way, it's really, really cold in this room. So I wish I could wear very beautiful things right now, but beautiful things are like 3 blankets and a hoodie.
That is beautiful too. Coziness is so beautiful and wanted here.
There was a fireplace, but that's not in this room right now. So I just have, I think I definitely have a story that, my body is like broken or needs like severe help. And these things, like these little things, these are like lovely, but it's like, I was like, that's not really going to make a difference. But it's even more than that. It's like the masculine of, I don't have time. I need to like hustle, work. I need to rebuild. I need to, this like pressure to work and like put much time in it. And so the self-care is like indulgent or like irresponsible, playful. They like to take 2 hours before you do what you're like, the priority is work, right? That's the priority. That's what I've been told. Your health and your body are not. That's been tough conditioning. However, like being open to like if something else is true. I like what you said about that your body actually shuts down. Like when you're trying to push it and make it do something, it actually like shuts down and does the opposite. And that's not something that I was like aware of before that could be happening.
Beautiful, beautiful awareness. And thank you so much for the honor of us getting to witness you and those stories and your experiences. I know that I, for one, can completely 100% relate to being told and pressured that the priority, the number one priority is work.
Mhm.
Everything else is secondary. And work is so important that we need to push and force our bodies to show up for that work no matter what, even if they're breaking down, even if they're aching for our attention. That still is on the back burner, and it's the work that is the priority.
Yeah. And what's interesting when you say that, it's like I'm trying to heal my body so that I can perform better in work.
Yeah.
Not for like the sake of, so I can feel, well, part of it is like shifting, but majority is like, well, yes, I can perform at work, but then it's like, and like be good in my relationships and like feel good about myself, but like mostly so I can perform better at work.
Yeah, even still, like the desire to heal your body and to tend to your body is coming out of that pressure of so that I can work. And the other things are nice, but they're still kind of coming secondary. Yeah, you are so not alone in feeling those things at all. It's like we live in this very capitalistic culture that prioritizes work and our efficiency and our productivity over everything else. And it is next to impossible to not pick up some of that along the way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for sharing, Melissa. Amy, did you feel called to share?
Sure. I'm going to say a little bit about what the two of you are talking about with work. At my workplace for years, we keep hearing, do more with less, do more with less. And I find myself getting very angry about that because at some point that just is no longer possible. And they keep saying it as if, oh, somehow the people doing the work are at fault, or somehow you've all been slacking off for all these years and now we really expect. I'm like, you know, at some point you've used up whatever cushion might have been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's unrealistic and really kind of ridiculous to even say that anymore, that it's even possible to yet once again do more with less. And I find myself thinking, okay, are these people like listening to themselves? Because it doesn't make sense. You know, it does not make sense. And knowing that we're all organic material, we're flesh and blood, we are not machines. The human body was not designed to do repetitive motion perfectly constantly.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't designed to push ourselves the way, you know, our current culture tells us to. The human body is not designed for that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the ironic things about the Industrial Revolution is that the idea was, oh, we'll have these machines and they'll do all the work. And then all the people will sit around, you know, discussing philosophy and creating art. And it didn't happen. We started turning ourselves into the machines.
Yes.
And there's a part of me that's just shaking my head and going, so now we have all this technology and what are we doing? We are working like 23 out of 24 hours because we can. And we can't put our cell phones down because our lives are in this machine. And I think we need to remember that we're human and there's no shame in being human.
Yes, so much yes to that. There is no shame in being human, and yet we're being shamed for being human every single day in this culture that we live in.
And especially as a woman, especially as a woman.
As a woman.
And yeah, and again, that whole idea that in a masculine system, it's about being competitive. So you have to hustle so you can be competitive. And the competitiveness is about control. Well, if I'm on top, then I can control everybody on the bottom. Whereas in a feminine system, it's about delegating the responsibility. It's about community.
Yeah.
You know, it's about finding the win-win.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm hoping we're getting to a point where that's being valued more. But traditionally in our culture, that has not been valued.
Yeah. And I love what you said about, and especially for women, because in recent years, we've also gone from, you know, I mean, I say recent, like relatively recent years, from like, okay, we manage the home, we take care of the children, we take care of the household. And now, not only are we still being expected to take care of the whole household and take care of the children, and we're expected to have a job just like a man, to show up and be competitive and work just like a man. And I'm not at all saying that we can't do that, but I don't know many of us who have gotten that delegation, that support, that community coming in to help take some of the other things off our plate. And it really goes all into this theme and this idea that, like, us being machines and selfless machines and machines who serve everyone else, all of our work, all of our people, all of our households before ourselves, because there's just so much on our plates, on our shoulders, so much that other people are expecting of us, that they're putting on us, that is just simply too much for one human to hold, to do. And it's impossible. They're impossible standards, impossible expectations. And it's completely wringing out all of that juicy, feminine humanity that we have within us, because we are human beings. So thank you both so much for sharing your stories, your experiences around this. I, for one, and feel free to raise your hand if you agree, like completely relate and have lived and experienced everything that both of you shared. And so I'd like to start out with this initial kind of witnessing activity and practice, just so we can really know that we are not alone. We're not alone in these experiences, in these stories. There's nothing wrong with you or you or you or me for having these experiences, for having the shame and the guilt around putting ourselves first, around slowing down, around prioritizing our pleasure, around savoring the everyday moments of our life. Because as you both shared, and as we've been talking about, it is being forced out of us. We are, like, our world is trying to turn us into machines, but that's simply not what we are. That is not who we're here to be. That is not what we're here to do. And so this work is really an invitation back into our human selves, into the selves that do 110% deserve and need, not even just like deserve, not even just being worthy, though we all are, but genuinely need to be nourished, need the pleasure, need the savoring, so that we can be giving from our overflow, so that we can be serving those around us without burning ourselves out. And so I want to move us into something that might feel radical if you haven't done it before. But I really want us, in this next activity, we're going to be connecting to our deepest desires. And the reason I say it can feel really radical is because, like we just shared, pretty much the expectations of capitalism and of the world and of our culture are being thrust upon us. We're constantly being told what we should do, how we need to work, how we need to work more with less, how we need to be more efficient, more productive, how we need to be this kind of mom or this kind of wife or this kind of friend or this kind of partner. It's everyone else's desires that are being piled upon us. And it is so difficult, if not impossible, to build a life rooted in our desires, build the life of our dreams, if we're disconnected from them, if we don't know what they are or what they look like or what they feel like. So we're going to spend the next 5 minutes, again, returning to your journal or the chat, wherever you feel called to share this, to just take this time to really drop down into yourself, into your own desires. I'm going to share some guiding questions. I'm going to put on a little writing music. And creating this space, this time that is really here for you to just simply feel into what it is you really want for yourself. Notice anytime a should comes up. Notice where it might be coming from. And just decide to give it back to however that comes from. Om Namo just gonna invite you into this inquiry. Maybe putting a hand on your heart or wherever it feels like your desires live within you. Dropping down into that place of desire inside of you. What do you desire for your life? What are those dreams that you had in childhood? Those things that you want to grow up to do, to be, to have? What is an everyday desire that you have? What is the desire that you have right now in this moment? What is a dream that you've always held within you? Perhaps a dream that has maybe been quieted or shut down. A dream that maybe has been silenced. A dream that maybe you've even forgotten because it's been so long since you've been in touch with it. It is a dream that you've always carried with you. That the last thing you want to do is die with that dream still inside you, unrealized. What are the dreams that you hold for how you want to live your life? For what you want your life to look like? For what things you want to enjoy in your life? What you want your world to look like? What dreams and desires do you have for your body, your relationship to yourself, your relationship with food, and pleasure, and enjoyment? What are your deepest, most sacred, most special dreams and desires? What is a dream or a desire that is so big and so bold and so audacious that it's even scary to admit to yourself? Those are the ones that we are seeking to uncover, that we're seeking to get in touch with. Knowing that even if you write it down right now, you don't have to share it with anyone unless you want to. But this time and this practice is just for you. So full permission to just unleash every juicy, sacred, scary, bold, audacious desire within you. permission to really go there, to go to those places that you might have felt out of touch with, that you maybe haven't explored in a while. Just taking a couple more moments to write down anything else that's bubbling up for you, whether it's known or unknown, familiar or unfamiliar. What are those desires that you really hold sacred, that you really want to cultivate, that you're ready to have? Beautiful. Wherever you are, just bring those last thoughts to a close, knowing that you can always return to this list, this prompt, and always write down more desires. And now we're going to just move right into leading into and exploring how we want to feel, really focusing on the feelings that we want to enjoy and experience and embody more of the time in our lives, that we desire to be those default feelings. What do you want your life to feel like? How do you want to feel in your everyday moments? How do you want to feel when you get each of those desires? When those dreams have become your reality? What does that feel like for you? What is the highest and best way that that feels for you? Just taking a few moments to really just fully flesh out that feeling landscape, that vision for the embodiment that you desire, for those feelings that you want to live in more often than not, the sensations that you want to cultivate, that you want to enjoy. How do you want to feel along the journey, in the practice, in each step of moving closer and closer to your dreams and desires? I really invite you to especially write down any feelings that have felt out of reach for you previously, any feelings, emotions that you thought that you just can't have. For me, I grew up believing that some people were born happy and others were not, and I simply was not. I spent so much of my life thinking that happiness and joy were out of reach for me. So are there any feelings that have felt out of reach for you that you want to name and claim in this moment? Bring those thoughts to a close. Beautiful. Now I invite you to, if there's anything that you want to be witnessed in after going through that process of writing down your desires and your desired feelings, if there's any dreams that you'd like to be witnessed in, I invite you to share that with us in the chat or by unmuting yourself. And if you want to hold those tight and keep those close to your heart, that is perfect and beautiful and sacred as well. Beautiful.
Are we sharing our desires?
Yeah, if you feel like it, please do. If there's anything you'd like to be witnessed in, be held in.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest desire is like just feeling really awesome and amazing and vital in my body.
Yeah.
And just having this like rocking relationship with, myself and my body. And having like really juicy, nourishing relationships, like friendships and partnership, just like experiences out there, like living life, feeling like confident and settled in my career and having a clear vision so that it just like frees up space for me to just, enjoy the pleasures of life.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful desires. I see you in every one of those. See you in that rockin' relationship with your body, and those juicy, expansive relationships with others. And I know it is all here for you. It is so possible for you. And thank you for speaking your desires out loud and naming them and claiming them in this space. And we're going to, in a moment, move into starting to cultivate them right here and now. Thank you for sharing. Amy.
Yeah, this one's a little tough for me. I tend to be very introverted. So, yeah, so this one's a little tough.
We'll just that you can share as much or as little as feels good to you, pushing whatever edge you want to push and not pushing any edges you don't want to push.
Yeah, well, part of the thing is there's a part of me that's very conscious of the fact that this is being recorded. And so there's always that, that part of me that's going, wait, this is in perpetuity.
Hear you.
But I guess I will say I have a similar thing with relationship where I'm realizing that a lot of the relationships I've been in, just with, I don't necessarily mean like partnership relationships, but I mean, friends, acquaintances, coworkers, whatever, that a lot of them are not supportive. A lot of them aren't even respectful. I'm at a point where I'm starting to realize that a lot of people whom I've known for a long time, who I've considered friends, that's actually sort of a one-sided kind of thing where I'm being very emotionally supportive. And then when I need to share something, I get shut down. And it's almost, I've had people say to me, well, if you're going to start talking about your stuff, I can't talk to you anymore. And I'm going, but I'm sitting there listening you go on like for hours every week.
Yeah.
And the one time when I need to talk, I'm told that I'm asking too much. So I'm at a point where I've basically stepped away from a lot of my relationships. And now I'm going, okay, great, but then there's no one here but me. So so in that spot where I'm going, okay, so now I need to build, but I need to find the right people to build with.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very inclusive. I think people are fascinating and wonderful, you know, and I love people that are different from me because they give me a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to think I need to be a little more discerning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us. I feel you. I feel the grief of that. Of not getting to be held and supported the way you hold and support others so generously. The grief and the anger of having to step away from those relationships because they aren't giving you what you need. And I see the desire that you have to take all that those relationships have given you, even if it wasn't what you wanted, and transmuting it into what you're now creating for yourself, what you're now, like how you're now raising your standards for the people that you allow in, for the people that you share your life and your time and your energy and your all of your goodness and amazingness with. That is a beautiful desire. I have gone through just these last 2 years, very, very similar experiences in the realm of relationships. And so I just really honor this place that you're at in your journey. I honor the strength that it took to share all of that. And I am just really excited for you and where you're going. I know that this part of it can be so painful and so filled with grief and loneliness. And I just really see that beautiful vision that you have for yourself of these reciprocal, respectful relationships that you get to be nourished just as much as you're nourishing them. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm learning that it's okay for me to step up and say, no, this is what I need to.
Yes.
It's been a hard road to learn that. It seems kind of silly, but yeah.
Not silly at all. It is hard because we are not, like you said, you've been shamed when you asked for what you needed. So of course it's going to feel hard and scary to say, hey, no, this isn't okay. And this is what I need. And it takes so much strength and courage to set those boundaries, to raise our standards, to stop accepting the crumbs. And I am just celebrating you so wholeheartedly for doing that, for being on that journey, even when it's as freaking hard as it is.
Thank you.
My pleasure and my honor. And now from this place, I am so excited. Like I'm just buzzing because you both shared such gorgeous, heartfelt, deep desires. Like I hear the depth, the yearning, the wanting, the like, this is what's for me. Like this is what is here for me. And so this next practice, it's really a tool that I'm going to be teaching you, is one of my favorites and is so perfect after we really got clear on our desires and clear on how we want to feel, because it's going to give you a tangible way, a tangible tool that you get to carry with you to help begin cultivating the feelings of what you want, of your dreams and desires in your life right here and now and every single day, anytime that you want. And by doing so, by learning to feel the way we want to feel or how we imagine we're going to feel when we have those desires, it helps to bring them in. It like creates the gateway, the doorway. It opens the door wider for those dreams and desires to flow in with more ease through our embodiment of that vibration, of that frequency of them. So I'm going to invite you to take all of those things that you wrote down, all of those dreams, all of those desires, all of the ways that you want to feel in your life into this next exercise. So this is an NLP technique that is called a state circle. I'm sure other practitioners refer to it as different things, but I call it an NLP state circle. And it's really this way to, wherever you are, whatever's going on, to create your desired feelings, to start like embodying your desired feelings. So I'm going to give you the structure, the step-by-step, if you will, of how we create this tool for ourselves, how we do this tool for ourselves. And then I'm going to have each of you be going through it. We'll go through it all together. Like I'll be doing my own and each of you will be doing yours. But I just want to give you the structure of it and the outline of it on the front end, so that when we go into actually doing it together, you know what to do and you're not like wondering and feeling confused. So the way that this works, it really relies on our imagination. It really relies on kind of bringing back that like inner child, because what I'm going to ask you to do when we're doing the activity together is to imagine that there's this beautiful cauldron in front of you. I like to use cauldron. I like the witchy vibes, but it could be a pool of water. It could be a goblet. It could be whatever is big enough for you to jump into. And of course, we're doing this with our imaginations. We're creating this in our mind's eye. But just sort of seeing it, like it might be like one of those cute little kiddie pools. And you're just going to see it in front of you, on the ground in front of you, wherever you are. So if you want to move around or like have some space where you can see the floor in front of you, that can be helpful. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to spend some time throwing into this pool, into this cauldron, all of those desires and how they feel, how we want to feel in our lives, the feelings we want to cultivate for ourselves on a day-to-day basis, and in those big moments of getting those goals, of having those juicy reciprocal relationships, of having that rockin' relationship with our body, of being in touch with ourselves and connected to ourselves in a way that feels really good. We'll be throwing every element that we can think of, every feeling, every texture, every way that these things show up for us, that we imagine them, that we envision them, into this cauldron. And once we've poured everything in, and we can also ask our unconscious mind, say, hey, anything else that needs to be in there, pour on in. I like to do that at the end just so nothing's missing. Once we have our boiling cauldron, what we're going to do is we're going to stand right in front of it as we are. And when I count us into this, we're going to jump into our cauldrons. We're going to reach down to the ground and like imagine that we're pulling up all of the water, all of those feelings, all of that energy that we just poured into it. We're going to pull it up our bodies. We're going to let it cascade over our heads. We're going to amplify those feelings again and again and multiply them. And then the moment that the feelings start to drain, we're going to step out of the circle. And then I'll give you more guidance on the back end. So that is the step-by-step. I know that it might sound a little out there, a little woo, or whatever. Might sound really silly, but just go with it, playful out. This is a tool that's here for you to carry with you after this. So I'm going to walk us through it step by step. So no need to remember all the instructions I just gave. I just want to kind of set us up so we know what to expect. So get in that place where you have some floor space in front of you to jump into. I'm going to stay sitting for the purpose of the video and the recording. But make sure you have a little space to jump into in front of you when we actually do that piece. So now I'm going to put on some music, as always, to just give us some little goddessy vibes as we're pouring in. And I like to really use my hands and take every feeling that I want to pour into this circle, just throwing it into this cauldron. Maybe that is, I want joy, and it could also be colors, sensations, like textures, flavors, smells, whatever you want to be embodying, what you want to be feeling in your day-to-day life. And throw in sparkles and glitter and the energy of unicorns and roses. And I want to feel relaxed and at ease and on purpose. And I want to feel loved. And really just imagine, whether it's in your mind's eye or using your hands, that you're throwing each of these elements into your cauldron. And what else do you want to feel? What else do you want to cultivate? How do you want to feel in your body? How do you want to feel in your relationships? How do you want to feel with yourself? How do you want to feel with work? How do you want to feel at home? How do you want to feel when you're on your own? What are the feelings of your dreams? What are the feelings of your dream life? Just pouring all of that into the cauldron. Any textures, any sensations, any flavors or scents or smells that you desire. This is all about you. This is all about cultivating this magical cauldron for you to feel exactly as you want to feel more of the time. Maybe you're pouring in more pleasure, more ease, more expansiveness, more nourishment, more energy, more calm. What do you desire to feel in your life? What feeling are you cultivating? Just pouring it all in. Seeing if there's anything else that needs to be added to your cauldron, your pool, your bath, whatever you desire. Now I just invite you, if you feel called, you can ask your unconscious mind to throw in anything else that needs to be in that delicious pool. Your own personal state circle of your dream life feelings. Now just stand there for a moment in front of it, witnessing this gorgeous cauldron, this bath, this pool of water that you have just created with all of your desires, all of those feelings that you want to cultivate and feel in your life. Just see how beautiful it is. See how enlivening, enriching it is. And on the count of 3, I want each of you to jump into your pool, your state circle, reach down to the bottom, pull up all those feelings all the way over your head, let them wash down your body, And as soon as they begin to dissipate, you're going to just hop right out. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, jump in your pool, reach all the way down, pull up all of those feelings, those emotions, that energy that you poured in. Let it wash over your whole body. Every single cell of your body is soaking in it, feeling it in every bit of your being. And now I want you to double that feeling and double it again and double it again, feeling it in the most expansive way possible. Just really reveling in it, savoring every drop of it. And just the moment it begins to dissipate, whenever that may be, just hop right out of your circle. And enjoy it as long as you feel that maximum feeling. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Just enjoying those feelings that you just created for yourself. I may have offered the guidance or the tool, but you did this for you. You poured every individual thing into your own cauldron. You took the steps, you took the action. You chose what got to be there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. So now why I say that this is a tool that you can truly carry with you and use anytime is because that state circle has been created. And I invite you right now to give it a name, whatever name feels most aligned for you. It doesn't have to be anything that I've called it already. It can be anything you want it to be. And you can create state circles for any types of feelings that you want to cultivate. You can create state circles for like how you want to feel going into a job interview, for how you want to feel next time you're setting a boundary with someone, for how you want to feel in your relationship with your body. You can create state circles around anything and everything. And so it can be helpful to have like a particular name for each one that you can easily recall and can be an anchor and a trigger for that particular state circle. So I just invite you to give it a name. You can even write it down if you want. And what we can do now that we've created this state circle, you've given yourself like the anchor of the embodiment. You've created that in your body right now by doing this practice with me. You actually get to carry that state circle in the tips of your fingertips. And what I mean by that is that as you're going throughout your life, throughout your day, anytime, any single time that you want to just give yourself a boost of that energy, a boost of those feelings, you can just simply toss like your state circle out in front of you. Or if you're sitting, you can just like drop your state circle into where you're sitting and just feel that rush of those feelings again. So you can do this when you're walking down the street and like just throw out, I think of it as like little discs that I'm throwing out in front of me. Like, oh, there's my state circle. I step in it, throw another one, take another step, and so on and so forth. So this tool is really here for you to use anytime that you want, anywhere that you want, to really cultivate those feelings that you want to feel in your dream life with all of your desires. I just love that one. I love that tool so much. All right. So now we're going to move into our last and final little activity of the evening. This one is really a practice of expanding our 5 senses, a practice of seeing how we can cultivate pleasure in any moment, how we can cultivate more feel-good feelings in any moment. And so if you haven't already, I invite you to grab a little something to eat. It could be a piece of chocolate, it could be even a glass of water, it can be a piece of cake, which is what I brought. I brought cake and raspberries actually. It could be a piece of fruit. It could be a cracker or a piece of bread. Like, really, it could be absolutely anything. So, no pressure on needing to pick like the perfect thing. This is just about having something to play with for right now. I'm just going to walk us through this practice that I really think of as like a five senses pleasure practice with food. And what I love about it is that you can bring this practice into any time you're eating, anytime you're taking a drink of something, you can bring this practice in, even if it's just one bite, one moment, 1 second. I'm of course going to share with you a little bit of an extended version because so that you have all these like ideas and different ways to lean into this practice, but know that you can do it in just a really small amount of time. So we're going to be using our five senses, as I mentioned, in this practice. And I'm just going to walk you through how you can begin to use your five senses as we're pushing our own pleasure edges here. So the first sense that I like to think of when I think of food, surprisingly, is sight. We all might know that saying of, we eat with our eyes first, and I think it's so true. And so one thing that you can do is you can just look at the food in front of you, the beauty of it, the texture of it, to just take a moment to appreciate something that you really love about the look of your food. Maybe it's plated beautifully, or maybe even just the environment that you're in feels beautiful. Just noticing, how can you appreciate how your food looks? How you can appreciate the environment in which you're eating, the look of that environment. It's really just taking this moment to feel the pleasure with your eyes. Now continuing to have your food in front of you, I want to move us into the sense of hearing. I think that this is one that we rarely, if ever, think about when it comes to pushing the pleasure edges with food, because unless you're eating something like crunchy and crispy, it's rare that our food has much of a sound to it. And so the way that I like to push my pleasure edge and feel more pleasure with food in terms of what I'm hearing and listening to is by noticing the sounds in my environment, by noticing the sounds around me, and really leaning into like, what is a sound that is delightful for you? Really paying attention to whatever sound is feeling good, feeling pleasurable. Sometimes there are sounds happening around us that don't feel so good and don't feel so pleasurable. And so we just want to kind of like let those go, ignore those, and focus on ones that do feel really pleasurable. So right now for me, I can hear my cat's fountain. We have this little water fountain for them just trickling in the background. I hear the low hum of my fire. I'm just noticing like, oh yeah, those things make me feel really relaxed, at ease, nourished. Just noticing whatever that sound is for you right now. Now we kind of get into the fun, like food part that we think of when we think of food, our sense of smell. Taking a nice whiff of whatever you have in front of you. just noticing any nuances of that food. Any ways that its scent is pleasurable to you. For me, I have this like delicious like chocolate cream cake situation. And I could just like smell the aroma of the chocolate and like almost like can pre-smell like the fluffiness of the cake, even though I'm not eating it yet. But bringing in that moment to just really smell and appreciate our food helps us to expand how much we enjoy it. So the next scent that we're going to move into, I'm going to speak to both of them at once because they kind of go hand in hand, or at least they begin to occur at the same time. And those two senses are feeling and taste. And so when you next take a bite of the food that you have or a sip of whatever you have, I want you to both really pay attention to how does it feel in your mouth? What does the mouth feel? How does it feel on your lips or in your throat or on your tongue? What are the sensations? What are the textures? And also, what are the tastes? What are the little like individual ingredients you might be able to pull out? Or if you're eating, like I also brought raspberries, if you're eating a food item that's just like a single whole food, noticing like the nuance in that. Like, yes, it's a raspberry, but what else is happening here? Maybe pick up on like, ooh, that really juicy berry, like sensual flavor, but maybe there's also like a brightness and a freshness to it too. So go ahead and take a bite of whatever you have or a sip of whatever you have, noticing, really giving your attention to the taste and the texture. So for me, something that was really fun and interesting when I took a bite of that cake, because I cheated and had a bite yesterday when I first bought it for this. But at that time, I was like out with my husband. We were at a cafe. There was lots going on around us. And I, just had a bite because I was like, oh, this looks so good. I really want to try it now. And today, when I brought in this slowness, brought in this presence, there were so many more flavors to it. Like I picked up on like an espresso flavor. There was like an amaretto flavor. I really noticed that the cream wasn't just like plain cream. It had this like light sweetness to it. And that's really the beauty that comes out when we just simply slow down, when we simply bring more presence into our experience with our food. And I know for me that when I do this, it allows me to actually have so much more gratification, fulfillment, satisfaction out of the thing that I'm eating, especially if it's a treat. I totally have a sweet tooth, and I'm someone who loves to reward myself with sweet treats. But sometimes I get into a place where I'm just like, oh, finally, I hit the goal. I'm giving myself this treat. Yay. Like, I'm so excited to like gobble it down, and I eat it really quickly, and then it's gone. And I'm sad because it's over before it even started. And I didn't actually get to experience the feelings and the tastes and the like enjoyment that I had planned on having when I, set out to have that indulgence. And so this practice with food is something that we can bring into absolutely everything else. And if you were to only practice it just with food, that is more than enough. If you were to only practice it 1 minute, 1 month per year, that would be enough. It really teaches us so much, I think, to notice how we can take one little thing, and in this case, we're using food as that example. We could take one thing and pay attention to each of our 5 senses and how they're being activated, how they're being nourished, how the pleasure is showing up for us in this moment. And it is in the present moment. It is in the slowness. It is in the rest. It is in the spaciousness that we are able to connect with the pleasure, to connect with the fulfillment, to connect with the joy, the ease, the relaxation, the rest that can feel so out of reach at other times. It is the slowness, the spaciousness that is required to bring in those feelings, to bring in so much more pleasure than we ever thought possible. So I just invite you to take this practice with you as well and play with. Where can you use it when you're eating? Where can you use it in other areas of your life? Where can you just lean into one of your senses that is feeling particularly pleasured at that moment and enjoy more pleasure in your entire life because of it? I know that I just feel so nourished and delighted to have gotten to spend this time with all of you. And we're moving into the final moments of being together. And whenever I'm closing out an experience, closing out an event, closing out a container or a call, I really love this practice that I learned from Mama Gina called favorite frames. And this is a practice of sharing and witnessing and speaking to some of our quote unquote favorite frames. And a favorite frame is about, what did you see? What did you notice? What did you get from this experience? It could be anything and everything. It could be something that you're taking away. It could be something that you felt. It could be something that you really loved or that was brand new to you, that taught you something that you didn't know before about yourself or about your life or about your desires. It could be how you felt seen or held or witnessed, or what you enjoyed witnessing and seeing and holding in another. So if you feel called, and as always, there's no pressure to share if it doesn't feel good, but if you would like to share a favorite frame, you're welcome to unmute yourself or to drop it in the chat.
My favorite frame is I love the cauldron idea. And thinking of like having life be all those different things, like energies, feelings, all the things. And then also the food of, I've heard, the different senses before, but, adding the component of, intentionally finding pleasure in maybe not just the food, but the environment, and finding pleasure through the senses. So, and then being able to apply that to like everything in life.
Yeah, beautiful. So well framed. I can hear all of the like juicy, delightful things you poured into your cauldron, and I'm so excited that that really felt good to you and that you get to carry that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Melissa.
I think I took a more a wider view and just liking the idea that, I've got this to-do list and I'm not done with my day yet, but just saying, hard stop, take this time, be here, really be here, really participate, and just being okay with that, not feeling guilty about all the stuff that's not getting done right now. I'm really, really taking a moment to appreciate being able to do that, being able to value that.
Yeah. Oh, such a beautiful frame. And I just really want to celebrate you, Amy, for giving yourself this time. I know it's not always easy when we have that to-do list there's still things to be done, to like, I'm gonna carve this out and be really present. And I just celebrate you for showing up for you. And I see how present you have been. And that's such a gift to give to yourself. And I just really honor you for that. Beautiful.
And thank you for putting this together.
My absolute honor and pleasure. I frame each of you for being here. I frame the way that I saw each of you play full out, be vulnerable, share your deepest desires, share your life experiences and stories. I frame you showing up for yourself, for nourishing yourself, for pushing your own edges, whether it was carving out this time, whether it was trying like the sensual eating practice or doing the silly NLP state circle that can feel so bizarre. I just honor you for choosing this for you. Like, this is what this whole evening is about. And I just frame each of you so wholeheartedly, so deeply. I frame your desires. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing yourselves with us. It is really an honor and such a gift that I have gotten to experience, that anyone else who watches the recording gets to experience. Like, it's truly, truly a gift. Thank you. And so now, just as we bring this time to a close, if you really loved this event and you're someone who desires to savor their entire life, you desire to lean more into what we have done here this evening, what we have been, what we have created, what we have cultivated, I want to invite you to book a call with me. I am currently filling spots for my one-on-one Savor. I have 3 spots remaining, and I also have a whole suite of offerings at all different price points, at all different levels, different containers, that if Savor isn't the right fit for you, I believe that if this work calls to you, it's for a reason, and I have an offering that is here for you. So I would love to hop on a call to just simply explore. I call my calls, my free calls, alignment calls, because it's truly an opportunity to just fully feel out for yourself if this container of Savor or of any of my other offerings, and if my coaching and me as a coach is the fit for you. I have a complete no pressure policy on my calls, and I'm really just here to support you in getting clear on your decision, whether that's a yes or a no. So full permission to book a call, even if you don't think that you'll sign up, but you just want to fully feel it out. Even if you aren't ready to invest, but you just are feeling resonance with this evening, with these tools, with this way of living, and you want to bring more of it into your life. Full permission to say no to me on the call, for full permission to ask all of your questions, to fully figure it out for yourself, and to just have that chance to really explore it fully and completely. So that is my invitation for you. If you'd like to take this work further, if you'd like to dive deeper together, if you'd like to explore more, I'm going to share the link to book the call in the chat. It'll also be sent out with the replay as well. So you won't have to you don't capture it now, you'll have it. There we go. Thank you for being here. I truly am just so deeply honored. I can't, it's hard for me to even put into words. It is not a small feat, and I do not take it lightly that each of you, whether you're with us live or on the replay, have set aside this time to be in this space together, to fill up your cup, to prioritize your rest, your pleasure, your slowing down in a culture that really doesn't honor or value that or give us permission to do that. And the fact that you did it for yourselves tonight is such a big, bold, brave step. And I know and can see that without a shadow of a doubt, your deepest desires, the ones that you wrote out tonight, they're for you. They are meant for you. You deserve them. You are worthy of them. And I wholeheartedly believe that you get to feel nourished, that you get to feel supported, that you get to feel really just good and yummy and delicious and pleasure all along the way, the whole journey, every step to having them, not just when you get them, though definitely then too, but all throughout the journey as well. And that is what I hold for you. That is the vision I hold with you. And that is what I invite you into if Savor is for you, if it's what you want to, if it's the next step, if it's how you want to be supported. That is the container waiting for you. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. And I am here for you. I am here to support you. Don't hesitate to reach out, to ask questions. I really, truly hold it as such a high value to always connect you with the support and the resources that you need, that you're craving, that you're wanting, whether it's working with me or not. So just know that. And off I send you into your evenings, wherever you are, whether you have more things to do or you're going to be going into bed. I just hope and invite you to take the energy that you cultivated over these last couple hours together into your sleep, into your evening, into your other to-dos, and into the rest of your week, your month, your year, and the rest of your life. I love you. I honor you. I appreciate you. And I am sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Bye for now.